This is my group, Austin and Adrian. Today we're going to do a presentation on a Magnus effect drone. So here's a few things we should be covering here. Just a quick rundown. And first off, why are we all here? That's a very important question right now.
So I'm mainly here because my dad, he works as a GE contractor. He supervises a branch where they supervise it, make sure that there's parts that are ready to be put in planes, they're clean, they're well looked over. But my dad has always wanted me to go into a lucrative field, and it originally was engineering, and so I took 4 years of certain engineering classes under the PLTW. What's the word?
Pathway.
Yeah, pathway. Yeah. And so having that experience, I wanted to go into mechatronics, but I didn't make the test, and so aviation was my second choice because I was like, hey, that's lucrative. That's something my dad would like as well. So I was like, I'll try and hop on that because it seemed pretty interesting as well. And so I'll hop into that, and it's actually pretty similar. I can still use what I learned in those 4 classes to my advantage in stuff like this. As you'll see later on in the presentation, we have sketches that me and Darnell worked on that designed this Magnus drone. So
for me, now I hate planes. They're kind of you do something wrong and everything goes wrong. But I love flying. Flying is a cool experience everyone have. But my grandpa, he flew planes. He has his own plane on the airport. He flies it here and there. But what sparked my interest for flying is I used to go to Air Force museums and go to museums with planes, and I kind of put my interest out there. Because originally I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was kind of on the chemistry line, and then I saw planes, and then Tech had an aviation class, and now I'm here. I take flight lessons now. I do training for that. I'm currently going for my FAA so I can get my pilot's license, and I'm pushing myself to become a commercial pilot.
Alright, so I'm not from here. It's pretty easy to tell. My family is all from China. We came from China, and the only way I visit a majority of them is through planes. So from a very young age, aviation has been core to my entire culture in general. And when I saw that Butler Tech had an aviation program, I knew I had to be in there. And at the moment, I'm trying to pursue some sort of engineering degree in aviation, and hopefully I can design some sort of plane in the future. All right. So, why a drone? Why a Magnus effect drone? Well, we're inspired by the Magnus effect. It is an effect that we learned very early on in class, and it's just really interesting how it works.
Yeah, Mr. Packer was telling us about Magnus effect and the way that effect and how they operate these drones. And there was a video that somebody had mentioned where somebody took 2 KFC buckets and strapped it to 2 motors, and it spun so fast that it was actually able to take off, although it didn't take off very long. So we were trying to see if we could maybe recreate something similar and actually see if it can be stable in here.
There was also Mr. Packer mentioned that previous students had attempted to make a Magnus effect drone, and that just gave us the little push we needed to say it's possible we as students can actually make this drone. And we also probably need a little ego check because we want to make 2 drones, not just 1.
Yeah.
So
the competition is what's really driving us. 2 of our seniors are actually doing it right now, Trinity and Emma, and they've been working on it for what was it? 2? No, it's been about a year and a half. About a year and a half, and so we're seeing if we can beat them before they get it done. So.
Alright, so real quick, let me explain what Magnus effect drone is. So Magnus effect is the spinning motion of any cylindrical object, and because when it's spinning in a specific direction, it is actually able to create lift. And because of that lift, we decided to actually put it on a plane. And now this isn't something that's unheard of. There is Magnus effect sailboats that can be powered by them. So it's not like we're just going out left here and oh, let's throw that thing on a plane. Maybe it'll work. But here's one big problem. Magnus effect drones have a really powerful gyroscopic perception effect. Basically, since it's spinning, it wants to keep spinning, and it doesn't like changes in motion. So that's a big problem we're facing right now, and we do have a kind of a workaround. So this is some early development pictures. Adrian can explain this.
most of these designs Darnell and I drew up, as I mentioned earlier. We're going for a more traditional look with that because we did some research for about 4 hours in class, and because we had the free time, and so we were looking up images and how it all would work together, and so we decided we were going to make it with paddles that I 3D printed. There's some parts as well that I 3D printed and modeled on CAD, and putting it together. I think so. We're going to have the rudder here, which gives it the forward propulsion it needs to keep moving, and then the main source of lift is those the rotaries there. So.
And as I mentioned earlier, gyroscopic precision. The way we combated this is making this very long, so it can't actually pull the plane into a spiral.
Yeah, we're mostly going to put all of our batteries and servos down here. That way, that it also helps to counteract that weight. So.
Here's a few more pictures that we drawn up, just as a quick sketch.
So, as you mentioned, we have 2 ideas of what we want to do. The first one is more traditional, and we've seen it fly. The second one, I've only seen simulations of it flying, and I thought, hey, guys, this would be kind of cool to try and like actually make, because we don't know if it actually flies. We could see if it could. But the catch is, and Jimmy and Will did not make it today because they're both busy. One was out of state, but Jimmy, he drinks Monster a lot, and so he collects like these cans because of the art on it, and I feel bad for him, but he's giving us these cans so that we could put it on the drone and try and see if we can make it fly with these cans. So, despite his protests, we're using them.
So, obviously, it's us in our garage, my garage actually, where we took my mother's tools and just kind of used them to begin our creation progress. We have like kind of a prototype created out of wood. It doesn't actually fly yet, but we have a little prototype made out that we're eventually gonna upgrade and like make it better so that we can actually like put it out and actually keep it flying, keep it going.
Yeah, this was during the 3D modeling part of it. I was just on my laptop working away at trying to get the 3D modeling done so that we could put it into a 3D printer and get it out for a physical copy of it. And and then Will, he actually races drones. If you can hear him, we would talk all day about it. But he races drones, and so he is going to be where we can get most of our parts for like motors, servos, stuff like that. Here's a video of one of the servos he has in action. He has it all wired up, so eventually we'll have to see how we can attach it to the base. I do have on the rudder, there's a slot that we can get the wiring through, and it'll connect to the servo, and whenever it turns, it's going to pull the rudder in one way and let a little bit of slack on the other. And then when it turns the other way, the other one will go slack, and the other one will go taut and pull the other. So that's the idea. We haven't tested most of this because we have to get the physical parts out still. So, but it's definitely a work in progress, but it's a lot of fun to work on.
Okay. Do that way.
There we go. Here is, this is my dad's computer. He uses Ultimaker Kira for his 3D modeling software to get it on the build plate, and so this was kind of like the insight of what's going on in that area. This is some of our rough sketches as well of the second plan, and this image is actually the exact image. Well, not exact image, but it's like basically traced of what we looked up on the internet. So it worked out pretty well.
Maybe I should explain like what these are, because these paddles, that's what we intend to use to make lift. The effect doesn't have to be a cylindrical object, it just has to be a cylindrical movement. And this is just to connect the two pieces, the wing and the actual fuselage of the body. This way we can have it be curved to reduce interference drag, which is, you don't need to know that much about it except for the fact it's drag caused by like two 90-degree angles.
Yeah, which honestly we might have to sand those down.
And we will. We'll sand everything down.
But we plan on taking these, putting a dowel rod through it, and then attaching it at the tops so that when the motor spins, it gives it that the lift that it needs. But I picked PLA, tough PLA, because we didn't want it breaking on its first few test flights once we start to get towards that phase.
What's PLA stand
Plastic. It's just plastic. We pick tough plastic for the print because if we break the parts, obviously we can reprint them, but PLA over time costs a bit of money.
Alright. So, what is our plans after the showcase? We're about almost 50% done with the entire project. We got most of the materials we need. Mr. Packard won't give us the other half. And once we finish this project, hopefully we can get started on the second design in spring, and maybe rush it out towards next year's showcase. But at the moment, we do plan on finishing this before spring. Well, there's a picture of that other drone that Adrian was talking about. It doesn't look like it fly, but trust me, these things do create lift in a surprising amount, actually.
Yeah. Like you mentioned, they have sails on boats.
Yeah, there's boats with giant pillars. They don't look like they would ever produce lift, but it works.
I can't remember.
Apparently.
I can't remember who it was, but they went on top of which dam was it?
What?
Which dam was it?
Oh, some dam in Australia. I don't know. That's the Aussies.
Yeah. They went on top of a dam, took a basketball, and they started out by just throwing it out, and it didn't go very far. It kind of had a weird wobble to it before hitting the ground, but when they gave it a bit of spin, it carried for probably like 500 feet before hitting the water, bouncing off.
Well, we're running a little bit low on time. I'll answer any questions you throw at me. Trust me, I will. It can pertain to what we want to do, the drone, or like just, I don't know, the mumble jumble about Magnus effect. Alright. No questions? You?
How do you expect to kind of use some of your experiences now for your future?
Well, designing, I think you missed this part at the start, but I want to go into a field of designing aircraft. And this is like really the first step into designing my own aircraft, sketching it out, making sure I make proper annotations, having an actual design blueprint instead of, hey, I got a bunch of wood, I'll screw them together, maybe it'll work.
For me, it's just kind of mainly based around teamwork. I plan on being a commercial pilot for NetJets, so just kind of being in an aspect where I have to work with people is probably the most important part of that. So, and then Austin, did we talk about what we wanted to do during the presentation?
Yes,
we did. Okay.
All right. Any more questions? No.
All right. Got one quick comment.
Yes.
On you were saying you were going to steal your buddy's Monsters cans to do some testing. There's a setting in that Cura slicer that'll print just the outside rim. Have you ever used that before? Are you aware of that?
I would have to talk to my dad about that.
I was thinking that spiralized outdoors. Yeah, spiralized outside contour. So you could design a cylinder if you wanted to try it, if you wanted to do some sort of other profile and just the outside edge. You can generate a variety of different.
Yeah, I used Onshape because that's what I used with Mr. Orlando. You guys might know him. He worked at Edgewood for a bit, and I took 2 years of his class in engineering, and he used Onshape a lot. So that's where I have most of my experience in the 3D modeling software. I worked a little bit with Inventor, but other than that, that's pretty much where I get most of that.
All right. So that just concludes our presentation. Hopefully we'll see you guys again next year with an actual drone instead of theoretical one.
Yeah. Thank you.